We are live. Hello, everybody. We've got 5 people in. I know this was super last minute. We've been disconnected. Most of us have been disconnected because we are up in the mountains in Switzerland at Moleson. We just finished the Highline Extreme competition. Big thanks to Highline Extreme and to Moleson for inviting us out here. It was really fun. So it's super rare that we have this opportunity for all of us to be together in the same spot. So we wanted to take the opportunity to answer some of your questions if you have them. So we've already got some questions coming in on Instagram. You can send them on Instagram, Facebook, or right here on the live stream. So let's dive right in before my laptop battery dies. I've got like 80%, so it should last a while, but we're going to start crushing these out here. I guess just to start here, for those of you who don't know who we are, I'm Ian Eisenberg.
I'm Salome Cholet.
I'm Tim Motherfuck. I'm Basti. So, you want something to drink?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Beers.
Yeah.
We're at a restaurant and we're getting 6 beers. Bear with us.
Not me.
You want a soda or something? It's on me.
Apple juice, maybe? Yes.
Jody, you want something?
Beer, please.
And yeah. Coca-Cola, you said?
No, apple juice.
Okay.
Apple juice, 2 apple juice, and cola. So.
We knew this was going to happen, right? When we started the live stream, he was going to come and ask us for the... Oh, is it possible to turn this light on?
I don't have.
Okay, don't worry. Okay. All right, so we're jumping in right now. Let's go to the first question. Actually, the first question I got was... So this is an interesting one. It cuts in pretty deep pretty quickly. The question is from Sylvain Boubou. Hello, I have a question about your Slack life. It's personal, so I can understand if you don't want to answer. How do you pay for your life during your trips? How do you put bread on your plate? This is a really great question because I think that a lot of people are wondering how we can train all the time. And basically the answer for me is to just cut all unnecessary expenses completely. Right now, I'm living in my van and I'm working jobs online, making a very small amount of money, but it's enough to sustain my lifestyle at the moment. I work managing social media and I get paid to do shows from time to time, and that's mainly how I make my money, but it's not a lot. It's just enough to keep the gas in the van and to keep food on the table and to keep me slacklining as much as possible. You guys want to answer?
For me, I'm a student, so I still live at my mom's place, which makes it a lot easier. And I'm working as a working student sometimes and earn a little bit of money of that. So yeah, I have enough right now, but in the future I will have to work a bit more.
For me, I just finished my studies like 2 months ago at the beginning of the summer, but I was like working during my studies, so I have a bit of money saved for this, but for sure at one point I'm gonna need to work again. I'm a physio now, and also we're doing some shows sometimes, earning some money like this.
Does anybody else want to answer?
I work in the winter, travel in the summer.
Yeah, that's one way you can do it is work a job, save money, and then when you have enough saved, quit your job, live the slack life till you run out of money, and then try again. Yeah, this is what Tim is doing, it sounds like too. So yeah, we all have different ways of making it work, but the bottom line is if you want to make it work, you can make it work. You know, you don't have to be fully remote working out of the van like I am. You don't have to be rich. You don't have to be a total dirtbag and just live off of like cat food or like eating out of the garbage, although that's also an option.
And especially like you don't have to, I mean, I'm not training, but to practice a lot, you don't have also to be like totally free. I mean, for the last year, I was a student and I was still able to highlight a lot at the end of the day, after the work, after the school. So you don't have also to travel around to try to like practice a lot.
Cool.
Turmeric.
Yes.
Get a perma-rig.
Get a perma rig. Okay, next question.
That could be the answer to everything, no?
Yeah.
Any
Oh,
tricks that are scary? Oh, any tricks that are scary or mental because of leash management?
Combo.
There are some tricks that are inherently more risky with the leash because if you're rotating 360, for example, then the leash is gonna wrap around you. You just have to be really good at escaping the leash if things go wrong. But I think my personal advice and my personal practice is to just forget about the leash. I mean, forget about the negative consequences of a bad leash fall, I guess is a better way to say it. Because you have to be aware of the leash, putting it on the left, putting it on the right, in the middle, whatever. You can't forget about it in this way. But what I mean is once you put the leash in the best position that you think is going to work, after that, forget about it. Just go for your trick. Because if you're hesitating or you're not fully committing because you're afraid of how the leash is going to affect you, then you're not going to be able to push as hard as you want to. And of course, this sometimes results in really fucked up leash falls, especially if you use a really long leash, you can get it really wrapped around you. But I mean, even in a bad leash, the worst thing I've had happen is like severe skin abrasion, but nothing really serious.
You can get fucked sometimes, no?
Yeah, you
What's
can.
the worst that's happened to you?
But
The worst?
Yeah.
Well, the worst was with the leash ring more than with the leash.
Yeah.
I went to do a rocket mount, and then it flipped out of my hands and hit me in the face when my father was watching me.
Oh, no.
The only day my father came to watch me, and then I have like the face like this, bleeding. I said like, it's okay.
Oh, there we are.
I lied it.
Thank you, George. He's our technician today. We're trying a new mic. Check. Are you hearing this? Okay, I guess the mic is working. All right.
I think it's working about that.
Well, it's working though.
Okay.
Check. All right. I don't know if it's still just picking up on the sound from the laptop. Whatever. Okay. Any other answers for the leash question?
No, I
Tricks
said
that
that-
are scary, specific tricks that are more for the leash.
Yeah, you just have to be aware about the position of the leash. For sure, there's some position, like I already tried some tricks with the leash exactly where I don't want it to be. And you just like get a super not nice leash, like double cartwheel or something. But that's horrible. But
It's a double cartwheel leash.
Okay.
This is one of the worst ones.
I think it's, yeah.
And one thing, like the more you fall, the more you will be aware of where the leash is, and you might escape out of a scary position, let's say. Because in the beginning, you have no clue what's going on when you take a leash fall, when you're starting highlining. But at this point, you will be aware of what the leash is doing, what you're doing in the air, and yeah, you can just escape.
I don't think this is working.
No,
I think
that's what
it's
said.
just using the computer. Yeah, I think another really good point is you kind of just have to relax when you take a leash fall and you notice that the leash is in a really bad position, because the worst things I've had happen with the leash are when I notice it, I panic, and I like grab the leash or something, and then holding the leash like creates like a constricting motion and squeezes your leg or gives friction on your skin. What I found, or like the infamous dick leash, when you like fall forward and the leash is right in between your legs, do not grab the line. You're going to get racked. So just relax, let the fall happen as it's going to happen, and let the leash untwist from your body. It's going to hurt, but it's going to hurt a lot less than if you like try to grab onto something.
Pray to the gods of the slack.
You just pray, yeah. Next question.
We got some questions on the live.
Yeah, I'm going to start with these ones here. Okay, next question. Does all that freestyle beat up your body?
I think that's a question for David and me. I will just start. I'm basically training a lot since the pandemic opened, since January this year. And I'm always super motivated, like too motivated to train a lot, like not on the line, like also on the line, but also off the line, doing strength training and whatever. And I always get some overuse injuries. Like I've had problems with my knees since the pandemic opened. Then I had problems with my wrists for like 3 months now, I think. And yeah, problems with my hamstrings. And yeah, it's just a lot of stuff that is going on. But I'm always too motivated for some stuff like competitions to, stop for doing proper rehab. But it's my goal to learn to not do too much.
Oh,
And for you?
beers incoming.
Our beers are here.
So thank you.
Dankeschön. Merci beaucoup.
Merci.
Gracias.
De nada. Prego.
Gracias.
All right. So,
Thank you.
David, do you want to answer the question?
Yeah.
Thanks.
It's fucked up. If you train too much in a bad way, you get really fat. So you should listen to your body and know when it's time to stop. Sometimes you think you want to stop and it's just your mind is tired, and that's okay. You can keep on going, but when your body is actually tired and something is hurting, you should really listen to your body and say like, okay, I'm gonna take a rest day. I'm gonna wait a bit, chill, because you can be like, no, I wanna keep on going, keep on training. It doesn't matter. It's gonna get better, and then it goes worse, and then you are 6 months with a shoulder problem, and it's not nice. So you should
Rest
listen
days
to your
are
body.
super important, and it's so hard when you're like being around with Ian and David, and you have to take a rest day, and everybody's training super hard. Man, it's impossible to not go on the line, but your body needs it. You just have to keep it in mind.
Yeah, one thing I learned recently is not only to listen to your body, but listen to the line as well. And what I mean by that is if the line is not ideal for bounce and you feel like it's really hard on your knees or your back, don't try your hardest tricks. I was at the Valois Highline Festival in France, and I was doing a demonstration, and the line was resisting me. It was not tensioned enough, and it had a really harsh bottom. And I kept trying to bounce it, and I ended up tweaking a muscle in my back and was in a lot of pain for almost a week. So yeah, listen to your body as far as training goes. If you can keep going, I say go for it. That's my mentality. But if your body's like telling you you're going to get injured if you keep going, then obviously stop. All right, next question.
For others who just arrived, we're gonna answer the question in the live stream after all the questions we get in Instagram.
All right. Top tips for stabilizing simple bounces. Let me see. Yeah, this is something I learned from David, actually, from watching David freestyle. Is when you're bouncing really hard and you ride the bounce up with your legs straight and the line starts to surf, if you bend your knees at the top of the bounce, this kind of brings the line back to the center real quick and brings the next bounce down in the center. And this is really helpful for stabilizing surf.
And so yeah, bend the knees and also like relax the shoulder. Like when you start to bounce, use generally like your shoulders super like not moving and not adjust to the movement. You just need to relax and let the bounce go. But I think the main thing is to bend the knees to have your center closer to the line, and so get easier the position.
And relax, like you said.
Relax, yeah.
If when you bounce, push in, and that's the moment of tension when you're pushing. But as soon as you start coming up, relax your whole body and enjoy that moment of weightlessness.
And get more line time. Be consistent with your line time as well. Like, doesn't help if you have like 1 weekend of sessioning super hard and then take 3 weeks off. Like, you have to get the line time every week. Then you improve.
Train.
Practice. You see,
It's the answer to everything.
We've been doing quite a few competitions this summer, and what we're seeing is not only the trick level, but also your ability to control the line is really like related to your experience level. So if you fall on a trick and the line starts surfing like crazy, we see a lot of people unable to stop the surf in time to finish their run. So yeah, just practice controlling the line from a really crazy surf to completely centered as fast as you can. All right, next question. What about doing yoda rolls? What is the trick to it? There's no trick. You just got to practice. You just got to keep trying it. You just got to, the best advice for any trick is to, if something's not working, change like one thing and see if that makes it better or worse. And then if it makes it better and you're still not getting it, then change like one other thing. This is my approach, at least. With the yoda roll, it's really about timing. And you don't need a huge bounce. That's one thing I think a lot of people think is you need like a massive bounce. And actually, I think yoda rolls are easier with a smaller bounce once you understand the timing, because it's easier to control a smaller bounce when you land than it is a huge bounce. So if you're needing a huge bounce to rotate the yoda roll, maybe you're not timing it correctly. So really, I think the ideal way to do a yoda roll is, regardless of how much bounce you have, just make sure the last bounce before starting the trick is a push. It's not just like a weight. You push into the line, ride that bounce up briefly, and then as you're approaching the top of the bounce, you start the roll. A lot of people can do a yoda roll right at the bottom of the bounce, like right when you push, you lean forward, and this gives you that yoda roll that I'm sure you've all seen, where you get the yoda roll, but then it cancels the bounce completely, and the backup on both sides is like, and this is not very useful for comboing. Any other tips for yodas?
Definitely build up a solid base. Like, if you want to do yoda rolls, you have to be able to stick some sofa rolls to feet, because that's what you want to train, like sticking a trick to feet. And if you're not solid with the bases, you will have a hard time achieving your trick. Like, you will do it for sure, but it's gonna take more time and maybe be more frustrating. Just have fun with the easy tricks first, and then if you feel ready, just go for the next step.
Tim or David or Salome with barrel?
I mean, for barrel, you don't need to be strong in expo, but for yoda, for sure. The reason why I'm not doing the yoda roll for now is because I'm not strong in expo. If you want to be able to learn a yoda roll, a real yoda roll, you need to be able to, like Basti said, learn the trick in expo and be like strong in expo.
Good point.
It's
Bounce
not
in
just
expo.
the timing, really, like for the barrel.
Start bouncing in expo as soon as you can in your freestyle career, and you will improve.
But don't do it too much. As long as somebody says like, "Oh, you're bouncing too much in expo," then you should maybe think about bouncing in normal as well.
When you put your foot, if this block behind is a line, and this is your foot, if you put the line in your heel, it's shit. Okay, and a lot of people do it. Okay, it's okay.
I did it in the beginning. My
Okay.
expo was behind the heel.
And then when you realize you have to go a bit there and put down the heel, then it's like, oh.
Yeah. If you're balancing an expo with the line just in front of your heel, change it.
And then expo becomes
If you want to
easier.
do expo just with statically, sure, great. But for bouncing, you want to have the full use of your calf and your ankle, and you don't have that if you're on your heel. All right. Next question is, will we be selling merchandise? Yeah, we have a new supplier. Hopefully we're going to be able to get shirts out to people faster and easier. And also I'm starting a new thing where I'm going to be doing custom, just quick spray paint t-shirts. These will be a lot cheaper, a lot easier for you guys to get. So if you guys want one of the like team BounceKult shirts, you can still get those once we start printing them again. But if you just want to rep the BounceKult, I'm going to be buying just some shirts, some 100% organic cotton shirts, and then taking custom order. Or maybe I won't take custom orders. Maybe I'll just make a bunch of different ones, and you can choose from the ones that I make using a stencil. So I'm going to do like the negative, the inverse, where I put the stencil on, spray, and remove it, and there's just color all around. And then I'm going to be doing the positive also once Salome's dad does some like laser cutting. So we're going to laser cut a stencil out of metal so that we can do it properly and have it look really nice. So those shirts will be cheaper. It'll probably just be the price that we pay for the shirt, maybe like between 5 to 10 euros. We'll see. But yes, we're selling merch. Stay tuned on that. We're traveling. I'm traveling. I'm running it, so it's really hard to run from my van, especially with festivals and competitions, all these things happening. But once I'm back in like a steady spot, I'm gonna really put more effort into making BounceKult gear accessible to everybody who's interested. Okay.
Warm-up training.
Warm-up training.
For every athlete, the warm-up tricks.
What's the specific question?
Warm-up tricks.
Oh,
of
warm-up
each
tricks.
athlete.
My warm-up is really simple tricks. Sorry, go ahead, Tim.
Rocket mounts. I think rocket mounts are always great to warm up. A whole body warm up.
So you go in the line in Switzerland and you do a rocket mount, and then your arms stay on the line and your body falls down.
So I actually agree with Tim. I love warming up with rocket mounts, and a lot of people are like, "That's a bad idea for your shoulders." But if your shoulders are already strong, it's a nice warm up. But yeah, I would not recommend it if you're not already doing rocket mounts comfortably.
For rocket mounts as a warm up,
Yes.
I don't do it. But my shoulders, I'm always having problems with my shoulders, elbows, wrists. So I really warm up slowly. Like I take my time. I always go with the watch, by the way, on the line. I time my warm up. I go 10 minutes, 15 minutes. If I feel super sore from the day before, I go like 20 minutes warm up. And I don't know, my tricks are probably some chest rolls to feet, no-handed sofa bounces, some sofa spins to feet, stuff like that.
One bounce back, almighty.
My warm-up is really basic tricks. I'll do like sit bounce, then I'll do chest bounce, then I'll do butt bounce. Then once I really feel like I have the line, one of the ways to like really feel the line is a can of soup, because it's really easy to over rotate a can of soup if the line is like too tensioned, and you under rotate if the line is too loose. So for me personally, doing the can of soup really helps me understand the line. And if I do the can of soup on the first try, it's like, okay, I got it. I can continue into my session, and then I go into like the rocket mounts usually. I do a lot of rocket stuff if you guys haven't noticed.
Yeah, my warm up is more like I have really a routine for the few first tricks, and then it just go where it goes with how I feel the line, and I just try some other a bit harder tricks that I got until I have an idea for my session, for new things to try, new combo. But yeah, I have like a super like everyday routine that I'm doing every time I'm going on the line. Super short, but just to feel exactly like Lian said, the warm up is really more for me to feel the line, to understand the tension, to understand how I have to push to go to feet or to do any tricks.
Rocket mounts. At least for me, it's not an option. If I go to the line and do a rocket mount, my back goes like. So you first move a bit the arms, then you move the body a bit, then you bounce hard, make a couple of tricks, and then when your shoulders feel a bit warm, then you go for that rocket mount, and then you start the process. So 10 minutes warm up,
Yeah, something.
usually.
Yeah.
Even less.
Yeah, sometimes you just go to the line, do one trick, okay, I'm warm, let's fucking do it.
Usually you can use like intermediate tricks as warm-up tricks without even like thinking of them as a warm-up. You know, you can like just start your session.
That's
Just don't go for your direct like hardest trick. I mean, you could, but you're gonna just pull a muscle or you're gonna get injured. But you can just start your session with tricks that are easy for you and just enjoy. And then once you're feeling warmed up, then go for your goal, whatever. So the question I had is, what is the filming gear? I like this question because BounceKult to me is just as much about the media as it is about the tricks themselves and how it's presented. So for those of you out there who are freestyling or who are filming freestyling and want to create media similar to what you see on BounceKult, I'm using a Sony Alpha 7R3. It's a mirrorless camera, really high quality. It shoots in 4K up to 30 frames per second. Shoots in 1080p up to 120 frames per second, which is really great for those beautiful slow motion shots. 1080p is not really great for like cinematic quality, but for Instagram or Facebook, it's more than enough. And I use Final Cut Pro to edit all of my clips. So yeah, if you are interested in filming or making your own edits, which I think is a really underrated part of Highline Freestyle, is presenting it. I would recommend just downloading some video editing software and playing around with it and learning as much as you can. And yeah, I started not knowing anything and learned everything that I know just from playing with the software. So just experiment. And if you don't know anything about cameras, YouTube is your friend.
Yes. I use Sony Alpha 6500 and DaVinci Resolve Pro, which is free and quite complete.
If you guys haven't already, check out David's account on Instagram, Dedalo Trip. It's a Highline Freestyle account, very different from BounceKult. It's kind of more narrative, and it's like kind of like tracing the lifestyle that David and Deb and everybody around them are living, and it's a super nice project. So go check out Dedalo Trip on Instagram, and you can see some of David's work.
YouTube is better.
Check it out on YouTube. Preferred foot position on the line when bouncing: 1 foot turned or nah?
Yeah.
1 foot turned.
Yeah.
Yes.
I can show you the reason why mechanically. When you have your feet in a line, I don't know if I can show you that well. Yeah, there we go. When you have your feet in a line, your back knee.
But also make sure to get your knee outside and not like keep the knee inside.
Please wait while we try reconnecting. Okay, it's good. Sorry, go ahead, Basti. Can you repeat?
Should I repeat? I don't know. Be sure to turn your knee outwards as well if you have 1 foot turn, because like try to get the knee in this line and not like trying to go with the knee inside and have the foot like this, because you're gonna fuck up your knee.
That's possible. Okay. Type of backups that you like. So this is totally, for me, non-specific. It's like a light backup.
Yeah, as light as possible.
And resistance.
If you don't want to die, you need one that's going to catch you.
They missed the whole demo portion because of the
whole
connection.
demo portion. Okay. I'm going to demo again really quickly. Hopefully, maybe it's my body that's blocking the connection. Okay, if your feet are in a line, then your front leg is interfering with your back leg when you bend, and you can't push. This is your maximum bounce here. For some of you, that's enough. But if you want to get amplitude and get power, you need to open that leg so you can get super low, super deep, and push into it like this.
And watch the knee going outside.
Basti says, protect your knees.
Protect your body.
And your knees cannot be looking each one outside, because you will look like you're taking a shit. So you need them to look more or less the same direction when you're bouncing. Okay, we call it shit stance. It's not nice.
Okay, what was the next one?
Type of backup.
Type of backup, yeah. Light. Light and resistant. Like you cannot buy a webbing that is not going to catch you if you fall onto it, just because it's super light. But as light as you can get it while being safe.
Yeah, the main thing is that the webbing we're using doesn't matter from where it is. They are super light, super powerful, but also super weak. So you need a really strong backup in case of any problem. But yeah, a super light backup makes everything easier.
If you have a backup with not so much resistance, you can put a zone in the middle or somewhere where it's not too close to where your range of line is going to be, because otherwise it will fuck your line. Like 20 meters away from the loop, you put a stitch, 5 stitch, and then you give more backup in the side. And then even if the backup is not so strong, it's going to have much less power when in case of of a backup fold. So that's a good idea also. I have my setup like this. Next one.
Do you have it already?
Yes, but
Yes, no.
All right, next question.
It's
Are
not a
we? I think we're. Oh, shoes or no shoes?
question.
No
shoes.
I think that it's really like up to everybody's personal preference, but just from like an aesthetic point, I think we're all on team no shoes.
Except if it's winter and you're freezing your feet off.
Yeah.
But even. No.
Yeah.
I think
just go to
Canary
one
Island,
place. Yeah.
I think no shoes is the way.
If it's cold, just come to Canary Island, guys. It's the best option. And yeah, shoes. It's like if you can do an almighty with shoes, it's okay, but it's not so impressive, I think. So I would like to see without shoes if it's possible. And then I say like, okay, you pay the price, you bleed for the almighty. It's not like, oh, I put a shoe and I take all the pain away and I just get a trick. Okay, it's well done, but it's not so impressive. My personal opinion.
All right, so now thank you for your patience, YouTube watchers. Now we're moving on to your questions. The first one we have here is, what are the basic things you have to master before getting really into freestyle? That's an interesting question. I would like to hear you guys' opinions on that first.
I mean, if you really want to go into freestyle, you need to start to know how to bounce. But also, I think one of the things important is to know how to hold the line and how to stabilize the line. Because if you just go in the middle of the line and just try, as soon as the line is going to start surfing or anything not perfect, you're gonna be fucked. So you need to know how to stabilize the line. I mean, it's super hard to land a trick super like straight. There's always a little bounce on the end. You can't really see it on the videos, but there is always a little surf at the end that you have to know how to go with it. So I think that's one of the main things you need to kind of master before really going to freestyle.
Yeah, it depends on what means really going into freestyle. I mean, some easy tricks you can even try before even standing up on a line. So this can also really help to make you feel comfortable on a line.
If you guys are into freestyle and you can't stand up on a highline yet, but you want to start doing tricks, do it. Like, do not wait. You can start bouncing as soon as you're brave enough to go on a highline, and you can have fun. I think a lot of beginners feel like highline in the beginning is just suffering and fear and difficult, but you can change that if you just go to the middle of the line and just push by lifting your knees, dropping them, lifting your knees, dropping them, and you're going to generate bounce, and you're going to have fun with that. You can try rolling, you can lean on your chest. Freestyle is free. Yeah, it's just whatever you want to do that isn't walking the highline. That's, for me, that's what freestyle is. For you, what do you think you need to know before you start freestyling, or skills you need to master?
Yeah, I agree a lot with Salome. Bouncing straight is super important, but also, like Tim said, you can do tricks from the very beginning and really go for something that motivates you. Don't try, like, if you don't like a back bounce, don't go for the back bounce. If you like a yoda roll and you don't want to do a sofa roll first, well, that's your decision. Go for it, and you might be able to do it. There's a lot of people.
I did this mistake.
For example,
like for me with the back almighty, I wanted to get the back almighty before I got my first yoda roll. So I was struggling a lot, and then one day I had like three sessions just going for the back almighty, and I was so frustrated and painful. So I thought, okay, I'm going to do something else, and then I landed my first yoda roll. Just like, okay.
Yeah, I think when you watch any video of your favorite freestyle highliner and it looks like the line is bouncing super straight and super controlled, it's an illusion. It's just like you learn to control the line from learning to walk high lines first. I think all of us here started walking high lines first, right?
Yeah.
Like you didn't go directly into freestyle. So I think there's like kind of this myth or this illusion out there that like some of us high level freestyle guys like never learned how to walk a line and we just bounce all the time. But I was
true.
pretty like solidly and seriously into only walking long high lines for a long time. Well, long time, not really, but relative,
like 1 month.
relative to how long I've been highlining, it was a long time. And now I focus on bounce. But yeah, it definitely helps a lot. And vice versa, actually. Learning to control a bounce really helps you learn to control a hard line when you're walking it.
I forgot how to walk.
David doesn't bounce or walk anymore, just bouncing.
Yeah, I'm retiring, by the way.
David's announcing his retirement. Okay, do we train every day? How many days of rest a week do you have? I train. I don't even want to call it training because it's so fun. It's just like we enjoy it. We love it so much that whenever we can do it, we're doing it. You know, it's like if you really need a rest day doesn't have to mean that you're not on the high line. It just means that you're not pushing yourself hard. You know, we're traveling, we're working, we're doing other things. And it's not like we have a line rigged all the time and we're just seshing all day, every day. If that was the case, we would have to plan rest days better. But with all the traveling that we're doing and different things that we're all up to, we just are happy with every opportunity we have to have a line rigged and to be having sessions. So yeah, Basti probably has a different answer.
Yeah.
I'm kind of the training guy. Like for me, it's about training and not just having fun. I just can't just have fun and go out without on the line without a plan. So I need to train. But my approach hasn't been working too good, at least for me, because I'm always injured. So I need to definitely get in more rest days and really, I need to start enjoying rest days because it's been I'm having a rest day. It feels like I'm losing everything, you know. I'm kind of forgetting how to highline if I have a rest day because it feels so long time ago that I've been on the line, even though it was the day before, you know. So I need to start enjoying the rest days and actually learn that it is what helps me progress. So at least one rest day a week, maybe more.
I mean, depending on how many days you're highlining, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And how hard you're highlighting. Like I have this example when we were filming while we were sleeping with Yann, Dave, and David. Where there were 3 lines. We were 4 or 5 in the spot, and we were having super hard session all the afternoon. And at the end we spent maybe I don't remember
2
4.
weeks.
No, just at the spot with me. It was 5 days maybe.
Okay.
And during 5 days we were doing only this. And the day I left, they took 2 or 3 days to rest, and it was the same in my side. If you're going really super hard, 2 or 3 runs with super long time, you need some rest. If you having 1 or 2 sessions a day, 1 session every day. For now, I mean, it's not training. I'm not doing the same trick again and again and again to get it perfectly. So I'm not enjoy my body the best he can do. But I'm trying so many different things that my body is working on so many different movement and position that for now I don't. I mean, when I need a rest day, it's because I'm super tired. It's not because my body is injured.
Yeah, that's it. After Salome left, while we were filming while you were sleeping, it got to the point where we had the lines rigged, but we were so destroyed that we could really only have 1 session a day. So we would just wake up, take our time. 3-hour session, yeah, of course. But it was 1 session. And we wake up, we have our breakfast, take our time, walk out there, hang out, relax, and wait for the moment, you know, wait for your feeling inspired, wait till you feel the energy, because you only have, if you're training super hard for many days consecutively, you only have really 1 good session a day. And really being on the line for less than 2 hours if you're really trying to land a new trick or be creative. For me, it's not enough time. Like a 1 hour session, it's hard because I know a lot of you out there aren't in a community of freestyle highliners. You're in a community of people who all like to walk the lines and they all want to leave the line loose, and you have to like beg them to put tension on the line.
But not too much.
So it's hard for you to get that full 2 hour session that you want. And my best advice for that is find the time to go with the people around you that are psyched and just them, and rig just with the intention of doing freestyle. And yeah, I mean, the longer you spend on the, maybe some of you are listening to me and it sounds like I'm crazy because you can only last 15 minutes on the freestyle line. And that's how I was in the beginning too. But the longer you stay on the line and the longer you keep pushing, your endurance increases and you can continue to stay on the line longer and longer and longer until eventually you're more or less able to stay on the line infinitely. And you just like decide that you're no longer landing anything and you get off the line.
You're gonna get to a point that you're gonna feel after half an hour, after 1 hour, depending of the person, that okay, now even if I already like learn hard tricks and everything, now I feel perfect in the line. I feel like now I can learn anything, and that's the moment where the session starts. Really, we were talking about warm up. The warm up maybe 5-10 minutes, but when the warm up is over, it's not like it's not the moment we're gonna learn the hardest trick. You're gonna keep pushing, keep going into, and for me, it's after half an hour to 45 minutes, I start to feel like, okay, now I'm getting into the good moment, the moment I'm gonna learn some hard combos, some hard tricks, and that's it. I mean, you need to spend some time on the line and to not be afraid to spend some time on the line, especially when you are several freestyle line is the best because you can just sit on the line and look at the other and have this interaction. So you have some minute to rest and some moment to push hard.
And if you can only go on the weekend, go as hard as you can. Like, it's all about the line time. If you only have 2 days to session, you need to get as much line time in those 2 days as you can. I don't know, maybe it's interesting to you. For me, I'm injured the last couple of months basically, and I'm still trying to get at least 8 hours of line time every week, which doesn't sound super much, and I would love to have a lot more line time, but I just can't with my wrists.
For sure, for a lot of people, that sounds a lot.
But you know, already having 8 hours of line time a week consistently you still progress a lot.
Yeah. So for those of you who listen to my podcast, you may already know this, but
you have a podcast?
I have an episode on the podcast. You didn't listen to it?
Oh,
where can we find it? Where can I find it?
Oh, I don't remember it. I don't remember where we can find it. It's on iTunes.
There's a podcast.
There's a podcast. But while I was filming the film Paradigm Shift, which is probably my most well-known film, I was working 2 jobs. And I'm an English teacher. I'm not doing that now, but that's what I was doing. And I would teach online in the morning. And then when I finished teaching online in the morning, I had 2 hours or 3 hours before I started work teaching in the schools at night. I was teaching adults. So I would finish my online work, drive 30 minutes to my perma rig, my home spot, get a 1 hour session, and then have enough time to walk back to my car and drive to work and then teach until 9 or 10 p.m. and then start that cycle over again. So I was only getting 1 hour sessions, but I was doing it as often as I possibly could. So like, as Basti said, if you're only able to get weekend sessions or you're only able to get these small windows in between work or something, you need to push hard and get that line time and get it when you can and where you can.
And enjoy it.
Of course, yeah, of course, enjoy it.
We say you have to, but the real thing is that if you don't want one day to go to the line, I mean, after filming while you were sleeping, I went back to my home and I had like school and then working. And I was able to have a session. I could have a session almost every night after the work. But some days I was like, today I don't want to go. And those days, if you don't want to go, it's okay. You don't have to feel like, okay, I need to go. I have time, so I need to go. If you don't want to go, just let it go. And because it's this way you're going to get bored, I think.
And burn out. Yeah. Okay. Next question. This one is directed at Basti, I think, or it's best answered by Basti. Do you train things like flexibility or strength outside of freestyling?
For me, for sure.
Ça va?
I-
Ça va?
Merci.
Merci.
Bien. De tout ce qu'il vous faut. Si. Magnifique.
For me, like if I was not
Do you have
injured, if I
everything you
could
need?
train as I want to, I would train for pull-up strength because I have a lot of rocket stuff I want to do in the future. Leg strength, probably the most important thing about Highline freestyle because you need to bounce a lot. So and my weeks are super. My legs are super weak. Sorry. So I need to train my legs. And yeah, flexibility for sure helps. It's my approach.
So I have kind of a very different approach than Basti, and I would not recommend it to anybody. I don't really do anything. I don't really stretch or train or do anything like that. But I will say that I was pretty seriously rock climbing for 4 years before I started highlining, and about 5 years before I started highline freestyling. And my back, my core, my shoulders are super reinforced from bouldering and from climbing at a high level. So if you don't have this background, then you definitely need to work up to some of these more like powerful shouldery tricks, for example. I'm lucky, I guess, that I haven't been like really seriously injured, but my kind of approach to it definitely could lead to injury quite easily. Actually, most recently I was in Verdun and I tried hard trick. I tried the Nirvana, the 360 sofa roll 2 feet without warming up. And the trick itself didn't take too much effort physically, but when I fell, the leash was behind my leg and it pulled my leg pretty hard and fast up, and I pulled my hamstring. And I'm still actually very little, but after months, still feeling like a little bit of pain when I'm in a deep hamstring stretching position. So yeah, definitely warm up before you start trying hard tricks. Do you train any flexibility or strength outside of?
I'm stretching every day now.
Yeah.
I have to stretch now when we finish.
I'm not, but I want to have a stretching routine. I think it's the best thing to last.
I think we're all realizing that, like, maybe except for Basti, that we all need to be stretching and warming up more than we are.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't really do much of stretching and stuff like that, but I mean, I should do more. I know that, and yeah, until now it seems to work out. I mean, I didn't have bad injuries or stuff like that, but that can come in future. So I should definitely do more of that.
So yeah, if you can start to stretch as soon as you start Highline freestyle, I think it's the best way to go. Don't do like us.
Yeah. Okay. What's the perfect length for?
Maybe I can start.
What's the perfect length for freestyle? Salome wants to answer it.
Yeah, I think it's like up to everyone. I mean, for me, and we all kind of agree, it's between 60 to 75 for me at least. Depend on the webbing. We're not gonna speak about webbing, but I really think for me it's the best length. It's the best like middle between powerful, time, and energy. So yeah, 60 to 65 and up to everyone. I mean, I'm light, so it's hard for me if I wanna bounce on 80 meters high. I'm gonna have to push a lot and lost a lot of energy just trying to bounce. The good length is the length you can just bounce, and bounce is just like super easy. As soon as you have to struggling to bounce, you're gonna put some energy just for the bounce and not for the tricks, so you're losing some energy, some of your total energy.
Okay, next question.
Same.
Yeah, we agree. 60 to 75 meters. What line setup do you prefer for freestyle? Material, length, tension? I personally, I like tubular nylon webbing, length 60 to 75 meters, tension, depending on the length. Yeah, high. Depending on the length, we were on a 45-meter line for this competition, and we all agreed that it was the nicest at 1.8. kilonewtons, but this really is depending on the webbing.
We had a dynamo.
We had a dyno, yeah. So yeah, it depends, and some people like looser lines, some people like tighter lines. Generally, a looser line is going to be easier to land tricks on, but harder to keep the bounce going, and maybe harder to get like some power or some pop at the top of the bounce, like I call it. In rotations, yeah. So it's like it's preference, and actually, some tricks are easier on some lines, some tricks are easier on other lines. I guess the theme of the question is just like what line is the best, and really you should be good at bouncing all lines. You should try all lines and learn all of your tricks on all the different lines and different tensions, because it's different on everyone, and that's what makes a really consistent freestyle highliner is somebody who can adapt to any line that they're on. Okay.
Saludos desde Chile a Marcelo Ruta.
Chi, le. ¡Viva Chile!
¡Viva Chile! Sabemos que le dais duro allí, chavales. A seguir dándole, ¿eh? Que pronto vamos para Chile y la petamos.
What is the hardest trick ever landed, in our opinion? You guys are gonna have to wait.
If you saw, if you fucking
You
saw.
guys are gonna have to wait for the answer to that question, because we're gonna answer it, but not in words. All right. Can freestyle highliners get nerve damage over time from catching the line inside the elbow, armpit, or knee, or do you prevent that with good technique? I don't know.
I don't think it's about the.
Salome is a physio graduate, so she's probably the best one to answer this question.
I don't think it's over time. I think you can enjoy your nerve system like by catching the line super hard with the elbow or armpit. I mean, one day I like damaged my nerve, but it was okay. It was just like one hit, and I was like super fucked for like few minutes. But still, you can. I don't think you can have like. I mean, you will be super unlucky if that happened to you. But you know, everything can happen. But I don't think it's about like the time. I think it's just like one hit. If you hit yourself bad. But I think, for example, I think like the failing a sofa roll with the both like arm, shoulder like this, it could be way more dangerous than hitting yourself.
And this also depends on your shoulder strength, because for me, it's not even painful to over rotate.
No, it's not
like
painful,
this.
But if you like over rotate too much and not able to something super bad can happen.
Yeah. Okay. Any other comments on that? Okay. What is the lowest MBS for webbing that you would be happy freestyling on?
Don't get in trouble.
Yeah, you should use the minimum. You should not go below the minimum recommended by the ISA. That's my official statement. But my unofficial statement is you're an adult. Make your own decisions. Understand the risks. Use a strong backup, and make your own choices. I'm not going to tell you that it's safe to bounce on low MBS webbing, because it's not. Don't do it. But if you want to try it, then make that decision on your own and understand the consequences. Okay. Any advice on sticking the Almighty once you're comfortable in exposure and landing yodas? This is a nice one, because I think we probably all have different answers to that. Do you want to start, David? Any advice for sticking the Almighty after you already have the yoda?
You have to start trying. Figure out which foot you're going to use. I use the front one. They two use the back one. They do it in expo. I do it look into the anchor and finish in expo. And then you have to figure out a bit which one you like. And then start trying it and getting the momentum. For me, I used to do it one way, more extended. And then I start bringing the knees a bit in, and it makes it much easier to complete the rotation. So throw it and then bring your knees to your chest, and you will get a bit extra rotation. And then just find your style. and be careful with your foot.
Basti?
For me, I don't know about the tips. I can just say what the trick feels like for me. Like you hit the bottom of the bounce, you wait a bit, and for the back almighty, I lean backward. And then when I'm already leaning backward and falling backward, then I kick, like hook the line. And then the sticking is really about just trying a lot. Like for me, the back almighty up till now is probably the trick that I have the most tries on, because I was just not good in expo at that time, but still it took me a long time. I think I can't remember. It was just really long time. So just keep trying, don't get frustrated. And yeah,
There's not a lot of videos of Basti right now on the internet, but we're working on that. Stay tuned. But you will see that Basti, David, and myself all have very different ways of doing the almighty. So it's not just like, there's not just one way to do it, which is really cool and unique about it. And yeah, for me, I would say that it's easier on a shorter line. The longer the line is, the heavier it is, the slower it rotates. My first almighty was on 40 meters. I was already super comfortable with yoda rolls. It was not super easy to land the almighty on the 40, but to rotate it, it was really easy. The way I do it is I push in to the line, ride the bounce almost all the way to the top, and then at the very top, I imagine myself doing a front flip, and I bend my knees to my chest, hook the foot, and then try to come out of it like a tucked front flip. And that's different than the way that Basti does it, which is more like he kind of like starts leaning forward. It seems to me like he's leaning forward, almost leaning forward or back, almost immediately after the beginning of the bounce, and then he waits till he feels the moment to actually fully start the flip. And this results in a more like laid out almighty, where your body's perfectly straight, not perfectly, but it looks like super flat, and it's really beautiful this way. And the way that I do it results in a really like compact, almost yoda roll looking almighty without the hands.
For me, the key was to straighten the body in the beginning of the rotation, because when I tucked or already went into the rotation pretty tucked, then I couldn't get the rotation. And when I got like more straightened into the rotation, and then if you want, you can still tuck, then it worked out for me. So yeah, that was kind of the key how I stick it.
Oh, and for the front almighty, when you're like about to put the foot on again, you can really pull the line with your feet to where you want to have it. It's like, yeah, you know, oh, I need it a little bit more under my body, and you just pull it where you want.
And one thing that Basti does that I don't know that he was aware that he does, but I noticed it from filming him, is he pushes his toes on his top foot, the one that's not under the line, for the back almighty at least. He pushes it over the edge, and he's leaning back like almost at 45-degree angle without even having his front foot hooked or his bottom foot hooked yet. For most of us, that would result in the line just like shooting up. But he's like curling his front toes around the webbing, and it's holding it just long enough for him to like hook the foot underneath. And I think I'm going to try to like adopt this style into my almighties, because Basti is Mr. Almighty. So I want to learn to do almighties the way that Basti does them. All right. I think we covered it all. Hello, Drake. Drake says hi. What's up, Drake? Drake shared my first ever freestyle session with me in the Drill and Chill Festival. Was it 2 years ago? 3 years ago now?
Yeah, 2 years ago. 2019.
My first freestyle session was 2 years ago, and
Actually,
I was doing it next to Drake.
In that festival,
Sweet.
I landed my 4th rocket mount and my 3rd.
My first trick was chest bounce. Second trick was yoda roll. No, I'm just kidding. It's the second trick I tried, though. I was like, all right, I got this bounce thing. I'm going to do a yoda roll. But that is kind of a point in itself, is like, it's never too early to start trying tricks, even if you think they're outside of your level, because the sooner you start trying, the sooner you're going to understand the motion of it. Can you send a greeting to some slackline and Alta Slack of Chile? What is up, Chile? Greetings to some Zoom, Slackline, and Alto Slack.
Pez, weón.
Chi chi chi, le. Viva Chile! For those of you who don't know, my
Chile's a
partner
country.
Camila is from Chile, so we got a lot of Chile love and pride here. So we love you guys. Keep pushing hard. You guys are crushing out there. Can't wait to come and
Cinta
visit.
floja.
Can't wait to come and visit and have you guys show me around your beautiful country.
The next question from your mom.
My mom has a question. What is the best trick to bring Ian home to visit?
It has to
I'm
be
coming
like-
home soon, Mom. I promise. I'm working on getting my permanent residency in Spain, and I have to see that through before I can come to the U.S. That way, I can come back without problems. So I'm coming soon. I promise. Love you, Mom. Where can we acquire BounceKult swag? So there was a link in the bio. I replaced the link with the link for this live stream, but I'm going to replace it again with the link. It's a Google form, and you just fill out your information in the Google form. It will alert me, and then because I am not a business, I am not a shop, I'm going to have to individually go through these and send them to the person who's producing them for me, who is also not a big company. It's just a friend of mine who has a silk screening press and is working out a good deal with me to keep them as cheap as possible for all of you and for me to make this worth the effort. It needs to be as little of a headache as possible. And so I'm probably going to look at how many orders I have, probably about twice a month. And that's all I can promise you guys, is that I'm gonna get to your orders very slowly, but if you're psyched on the gear, you will get it eventually. And maybe I will streamline this and it will be different in the future. But right now I'm traveling in my van. I'm highlining all the time, and I do not have time to be shipping out shirts every day. So if you want a shirt and you really are psyched on it, you have to also be psyched on patience, because that's what it's going to take to get one. But yeah, the answer to the question is, after this live stream, I'm going to replace the link in the bio with the link for the shirts. And all it is a form asking for the size, the graphic design that you want, your address, your phone number, things like this that I need to send it to you. And then when I can, I will calculate the shipping costs and send you a quote, and you can send me the money for it. And I'm going to try to charge as little as possible for you guys. And I'm going to try to offer some new, different clothing options in the future as well. Mad Stoke from South Africa. Thanks, guys. Hopefully we can make it down there sometime. We're like very preliminarily planning a BounceKult world tour. We don't have a sponsor for that yet. We don't have a lot of money, but it would be great eventually to find a sponsor who wants to send us around the world to meet you guys, to do projects with you guys, and to really just spread the Stoke and spread the gospel of the cult to the world. Saludos desde Colombia, monos.
Ale.
Gracias, Colombia.
Ale.
Pues gracias, parceros.
Os quiero.
Me van a pegar luego.
How does it feel to be fortified badasses?
45?
Fortified is like
Fortified.
strong,
like a fort.
reinforced. Basically,
best English teacher ever, guys.
Honestly, it feels pretty fucking cool. It feels really cool to be able to do what I want on the line, to be able to like dream up a trick and have the physical ability and the understanding of the line and body position and spatial awareness to really learn it and figure it out and be able to do it. And I think that's what makes it so fun, is that it's not just about like the physicality, but there's like a problem solving aspect of it.
So, no. What do you think? You want another one?
I'll have one more.
One more? Yeah, me too.
Okay, two more. Anything else? Another apple juice for any of you?
No. Vodka, rum.
Vodka,
No.
rum. Should we get shots, guys?
No, okay.
Just beer. Thank you.
One thing I want to say, like, none of us have been freestyling for more than 2 years, so you can just see like the sport is at its baby steps, you know. Like all the stuff you see and you think it's crazy, like in a few years, this will be easy stuff. We're just the first ones to do it. So don't think the stuff that we are doing is impossible and you cannot do it. If you want to do it, you can do it, and probably even better than us.
Absolutely. The most powerful tool you have in your freestyle arsenal is your self-confidence and your belief in yourself that you can do it and you can be an elite level athlete, because that's what it takes. You have to believe in yourself, because if you don't believe in yourself, then you're already lost. So believe that you can do it. Any trick you want to do, you can do it. Absolutely. I'm 31 years old. I started highlining a little over 3 years ago, 3.5 years ago. I started freestyle highlining 2.5 years ago. And everything that has come in between then and now is just because I believed that I could be one of the best in the world. And just believe you can do the trick. You don't have to want to be one of the best in the world, but just believe if you want to do a yoda roll that you can land the yoda roll, because you can. You really can. There's not a single person. There are some people, but in general, most people are capable of landing a yoda roll. It's not a magic trick. It's just practice.
And if you start trying, you'll be surprised how fast you get there.
True.
It goes really fast if you're dedicated.
Any advice for the anti-hero while we're discussing tricks? It's such a wild movement. It's the anti-hero. I assume you're talking about the anti-hero to sofa, because that's commonly referred to as the anti-hero. But the anti-hero, the original trick, is just ending up hanging from your knees upside down. It's really, you can just imagine the anti-hero, the one ending from hanging, as a front flip that happens under the line. So if you imagine yourself hanging from the rocket position, leaning forward and releasing both hands, you can start practicing like this actually. Rocket mount up, go straight up, and then just throw yourself forward. Release both hands. Have the leash on one side so it doesn't go in between your legs and give you the classic dick leash. But that like front flip motion that's happening under the line, that's the anti-hero. And the only difference after you get comfortable with that is you do that front flip, but you leave one hand on, let your shoulder rotate, and then once your legs come around, they will find the line, because the distance between your hand and the distance between your hand and the line and the back of your knee and the line are about the same. So you're going to find the line with your legs if you hold on. As soon as you feel your legs hit the line, you can release the hand. And if you're feeling uncomfortable shoulder pressure, then it ends there. The anti-hero is the same trick. You just throw it harder and try to rotate more. And then the Darth Vader, instead of letting your ass hit the line, you let your feet hit the line and you stand up. And it sounds super like I'm simplifying it, but it's really, that's it. You just got to practice it and master it.
The first step, just the anti-hero, when you understand the motion, it's super easy. You don't need so much bounce. You don't need. I mean, I'm really not strong in rocket position. I'm like letting go the line all the time, but I'm able to do an anti-hero because you don't need so much bounce. You just need really to do the good rotation, and it's super easy.
Yeah. Okay. I've seen talk about training on any webbing. I am restricted to using Feather Pro. Is it realistic to start learning bigger tricks? Does Feather Pro need to be longer than a webbing like Lift 2?
Polyester.
Yes.
It's polyester, yeah.
I trained in Feather Pro in 90 meter in a festival, and it wasn't even tight, and it was super nice. It was also a year ago, so I'm not sure how it would be now. But like, yeah, if you got a webbing that is not so stretchy, just put it a bit longer. Instead of 60 meters, put it in 90 and maybe 100, and you try. I think Feather Pro was super nice in 90, so you should definitely try.
Yeah, in general, I think that polyester lines are really nice actually for bouncing on longer lengths, probably more so than nylon. Once you get going up to 90 and above, it's way better to bounce something more static, because the nylon needs to be with an insane amount of tension at that length to be useful. Otherwise, all of your energy just disappears when you push into it. It stretches too much. So if all you have is Feather Pro, rig it long. And if you can't rig it super long, it's going to be harder, but it's definitely still possible to learn these bigger, harder tricks. It's definitely going to be harder, but you can do it. And if you practice and train on that setup, then when you get a nice nylon rig, it's going to be too easy for you.
True.
I'm not saying.
Which is your next stop?
Oh.
So we are all super psyched because it's the end of the festival and competition season.
Yeah.
And we are gonna go rig some lines, some bunch of parallel lines here in Switzerland. Tim's home spot, I think, your home spot. And we're gonna try to convince Sam Bollery to come join us. And it will be my first time meeting him and having sessions with him. And we're all really psyched to just have fun and relax and not be competing, not doing shows, not be traveling and giving workshops and things like that. And just
have fun.
Yeah, just having fun and being inspired by each other, pushing each other, being creative.
Train hard.
And finally
Train
have
hard.
some like super nice length and webbing and the
having
lines
our
that we
webbing,
love.
having the length we want,
Yeah.
the tension we want. Super nice. Yeah, so we have a couple. That's all of the questions that we have right now.
I wanna check on.
Yeah, I've got some more on Instagram. We'll probably finish this up pretty soon, but
Yes,
there's a
I'm
couple.
hungry.
There's a couple more. Funny stories under drugs.
What?
Funny stories under like if you
What is-
have any funny stories on drugs.
What is drugs?
What are drugs?
No.
I don't know what drug is. Don't do drugs, you guys.
No.
Come on.
The ISA does not recommend.
Shame on you. Seriously though, guys, always practice highlining sober and be safe. And if you want to do drugs, do it after your session. And yeah, just be safe. Don't be stupid. That's all I'm going to say about that.
I'm not doing so well.
All right.
Free solo freestyle. That sounds pretty stupid in my opinion.
What do you think about someday someone do a freestyle free solo? Well, I mean, unless you count Justin's film Genesis
No, that's
as
deep
free
water
solo. It's not free solo. Free solo by definition means if you fall, you die. That's free solo. So freestyle free solo is not a good idea. I don't think it will happen. I mean,
Only if you are about to die. We were talking about.
yeah, David said that like in a hypothetical situation, if he was diagnosed with cancer, that he would want to go out in like some epic way. Like one of two options, like either he becomes like a legend for landing some crazy thing that nobody's ever done before, or he dies, which he was going to do anyway. So we were talking about maybe like a free solo Almighty or something like that. But yeah,
But
in
don't
general,
do it.
don't free solo.
No.
If you want a free solo just walking a line, just make sure that that's something you really want to do and you're not doing it for like fame or to get recognized in the community or to it's a really personal decision, I think. I do solo over the water. The highest I've done is like 30 meters, and falling from there would not be fun, but certainly not a necessary death fall. So I call it deep water solo. But I don't film any of the attempts. I don't tell anybody that I'm going to do it. I just go when I feel it, and I enjoy it in that capacity. If you're filming your free solo attempts to post them online, you're probably doing it for the wrong reason. India is waiting for you and your webbing. Well, hello, India. The webbing is in India. You got to talk to Harshdeep Pawar. Sorry if I butchered that name, but he has the webbing now. So the Slack Association in India has the webbing. Thank you to Slackinov for the webbing, and thank you to all of you who participated in that giveaway. All right, I think maybe we have one or two more on Instagram before we finish. My cousin Nick Day, what's up, Nick? Says, who smells the worst or the best? I think we all smell pretty good. I mean,
should we point someone like 1, 2, 3 and point some of us and see what's the opinion
okay.
of each one?
Who smells the worst? 1, 2, 3.
I just said box office. What did you point? Nothing.
They didn't
These
vote.
guys.
No, I don't think any of us actually smell
No.
really bad.
No.
We're not like full dirtbag in it. We shower and we
I can smell really bad sometimes.
yeah.
My-
Who smells the best?
Probably
Basti
Solomon.
smells pretty good.
Yeah.
I like put on Basti's hoodie the other day by mistake because we all have identical BounceKult hoodies, and I was like, no, not mine. It
But was it good or bad?
was good. It was a good smell. It was not like body odor. It was like, well, maybe it was. Maybe you just smell like potential.
It's the almighty smell.
That's it. When are you guys coming to Brazil?
Wow.
Still the same.
We would
answer.
love to come to Brazil anytime. If you guys if you want to help us organize that, any of your associations or groups, we would love to come to Brazil. The limiting factor, of course, would be the money to get us out there, and of course, COVID travel restrictions. But yeah, it's certainly possible. If we contact me if you're really serious about it and you want to have your association work together with maybe some of our sponsors to make something like that happen. But yeah, contact me directly, and it would be really amazing to come out there and
meet all of you.
and meet you. Yeah. Okay. Si algún día podría entrenar con ustedes. Somebody wants to know if one day they can train with us. Absolutely. I mean, all of us are also not only freestylers, but able to, of course, teach and demonstrate freestyling. So if you would like any freestyle coaching, training, rigging stuff from any one of us, contact us individually and directly. And I can't promise you that all of us are going to be available or interested in doing it, but it's definitely something that I personally am really interested in doing. I think maybe Salome and David as well. If you want to coach and you want to hire us to teach you to freestyle Highline, it's something that we're all super interested in doing.
And if the question was on our way, of course, when we are stopping to a spot at Highline there, if there is the community here, of course we're like super happy to meet the people around. We're not like exclusive. We love to share with the community around, and yeah.
That's it too. Like if we're in your hometown, we're gonna session with you. We're gonna teach you, and yeah, of course, we're not gonna try to profit from that. But if you want us to fly to your city specifically to coach you, we of course have to, get something from that. But it's also an option. So if you're psyched on that, contact us. How much more time do you guys want to do? I have 13% battery. Maybe we can go to 9:30, like 12 more minutes.
Yeah, I mean, there's no more
I think there's
questions.
no more questions.
I have.
It's coming to USA and interest in you guys.
It's coming to the US. Interesting to you guys. I'll leave that for you guys.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I would love to. I want to travel and highline all over the world. So I'm like Jan said before. I did, and I'm gonna again start on imagining a BounceKult world tour. But I'm working on this and trying to find some sponsor, trying to find where we're gonna go. So yeah, you can also contact Jan, but you can also contact me. I'm actively working on this. So yeah.
Salome is kind of like the organizer of the group. I mean, I am myself also, but she's really motivated, and when she gets psyched on a project, she's down to do all of the like dirty paperwork and permission getting and all that stuff. So it's really nice to have her help. So yeah, if you are psyched on any part of that BounceKult World Tour organization, you can talk directly to Salome.
But yeah, that's of course. I mean, for me, Jan also, and I'm kind of sure for everyone, that's something we want to do: travel around the world and meet all of you and practice. Yeah, that's it.
So we're gonna go to 9:30, about 10 more minutes, or until we run out of questions. But we got a couple more here. So, does the BounceKult have 10 commandments? No, but it has the 3 core tenets of the BounceKult. The tenet number 1:
Dun, dun.
fear nothing. Tenet 2: sacrifice everything. And of course,
Number 3.
do you know number 3?
I know.
Go
I
to
know.
fucking feet.
Go to feet. That's it. Yeah. The fear of nothing means if you want to land a trick at a high level, you cannot be afraid of the possible negative outcome of your attempt. It's just not something that you can have in your mind. Sacrifice everything it just means that pain is temporary and glory is forever. So just keep going. If you're bleeding, if you're bruised, if you're scuffed up, you're not
Not
dead.
if you're injured.
Not if you're injured. Not if you're gonna like permanently damage yourself. But a little scrape, a little abrasion, a little bit of blood never
It's
killed
okay.
anybody. And then go to feet. If you land a trick to sofa, the
can go
next
to feet.
trick or the next thought in your mind should be, all right, now time to work on it to feet.
And hold 2 bounces.
And hold it for all the bounces. Don't fall. Okay, we are almost finished with our questions here. Done with the Instagram, I think.
Yeah, there is
There's
one
one
more.
more. Where do you train? I think that's super different. Like depending on where we are, where we're traveling. At home, if you have a perma rig somewhere, just go on your perma rig. It helps a lot. Try to decrease rigging time and increase session time. That's for sure a benefit. And yeah, I mean, really depends on where the people are. For me, at least, it really depends on where the others are. If they're in France and I'm in Switzerland, nobody's there in Switzerland, I'm gonna go to France, of course. Yeah, just find a nice line, and if you don't have no one to train, just go on your own and set up a perma rig.
Yeah, like we said, like we're not training. We're like playing with the line, and I mean, except for Basti, who is really training.
Yeah, true.
Okay. So for Basti and David, I and Jan and also Tim like just play with the line, and it's not about. I mean, for me at least, Basti and David have a totally different answer. But for me, it's not like about how many hours, how many days, how many. I just like when I want to go on the line, I'm going on the line, and I stay on the line as long as I want. And of course, when I have time, and I'm spending like generally not less than 2 hours on the line, and if I can do this every day, I will for sure do it. And if I can do two hours run in a day, I'm gonna do it for sure. But it's not. I mean, for me, it's not about training, so I can't really answer the question more than this.
My answer: where do you train? Wherever it's most convenient, usually. Wherever you can most easily access a line of good length. Because if you have to do a 2-hour approach to your home spot,
It's not your
it's not
home
ideal.
spot.
You don't need to have a super beautiful home spot to learn hard tricks, and I think that's one of the beautiful things about freestyle highline is you don't need a lot to get started and to do it. So, and how many days per week and how many hours? As many days as I can and as many hours as it takes.
Yeah, just enjoy it. As soon as you're not enjoying it anymore, just stop, and until you want to do it again.
Slightly disagree.
I disagree quite a lot.
David disagrees. I think Salome has a really nice approach, and it's probably more healthy.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna make her more happy than me and David.
Yeah. But David, Basti, and I, and perhaps Tim, I'm not sure. You have to sometimes endure some suffering to get the high level tricks that you want. And my best advice though is to leave it on the line. Like scream at yourself, scream at yourself, beat yourself up, whatever you got to do to get the trick. But when you come off the line, it's done. You know, and you.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
You leave it on
at
the
the end of the session, you just like enjoy how far you get. Even if you don't get as close as you wanted to the trick, you progress every session.
Mm-hmm.
So that's it. Just like enjoy after the session. Like, yeah, the session was hard, but it's gonna be better the next time.
That's easy to say, but then the reality, I don't know if it happens to you. Sometimes you go out of the line like, fuck, should have done better. And this is normal too. Don't feel bad, you know. If you feel like, fuck, this was shit, okay, this was shit. It's okay. After a few minutes, you have a couple of laps and it's over. But it's sometimes good to push yourself and say like, okay, that was shit, I can do better. And then the next day you do better. It's not like hitting you with the stick, but it's a good way also of progressing, in my opinion. Maybe I don't have so much fun like them. That's true as well.
So we have a question. How do you order your freestyle session? Do you start with easy tricks and then more difficult? We kind of already answered this question. If you want the more in-depth answer, just go back in this live stream after we finish it and watch again. But the short answer is yes. You start with easy tricks and you work your way up to the harder ones, both to warm up your body and also to accustom yourself to the line. Let's see. Felipe Silva says, thank you guys for this conversation. Feel closer to you guys. It makes you feel more like regular humans. We are all very regular humans, very regular. And we have our flaws, we have our faults, and none of us are exceptional in any way. So you can do everything that we're doing if you really want it and you try hard. Yeah, that's it. Seems like that's the end of our Q&A. Let me check really quick on the Instagram to see if there's any new ones, but I think that's it, and it's perfect timing because my computer is about to die.
We're at 5%
Oh,
battery.
I got a lot of followers. That's great. Yeah, so thank you guys so much. That's the end of the live stream. An hour and a half, not bad. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We were like really worried that because it was such late notice, we were gonna have like 3 people watching. But in the end, I think we covered a lot of really nice questions, and hopefully you had your question answered. And if you have any questions in the future for any of us individually or for all of us, you can send it to either BounceKult or to each of our individual Instagram accounts. And I'm sure that all of us would be more than happy to answer any questions that you have. And some of our BounceKult members that cannot be here as well, I'm sure they feel the same, and reach out to them. Si hablas español mejor que inglés, también puedes escribirme en castellano a David. David es de España, habla bastante mejor que yo.
Chorizo.
Y sube tu puto culo.
Sube tu puto culo, man.
Aprieta tu puto culo.
Ya, un fuerte abrazo a toda la comunidad española ahí fuera. Chavales, estamos con vosotros.
Dale duro.
All right, guys. Thanks so much. That's the end. And yeah, see you guys next time.
Yes.
BounceKult.
Oh, yeah.